Bluebell Hill rises steeply between Chatham and Maidstone and Kent, crowned with chalk quarries, ancient trackways, and the scattered ruins of prehistoric barrows. Long before motor cars, this ridge was seen as a liminal place, a chalk hilltop where the living and the dead coexisted in local imagination. But in the 20th century, one event, a devastating car crash, would transform this road into one of Britain's most famous centres of modern folklore. Today, mention Bluebell Hill in Kent, and locals will lower their voices. The name carries with it a story of ghostly women thumbing rides, of drivers swerving to avoid a figure who vanishes on impact, of passengers who disappear into thin air. On the 19th of November 1965, tragedy struck. A Ford Cortina carrying 3 young women collided with a Jaguar on Bluebell Hill. The Cortina's passengers, Suzanne Brown, Patricia Ferguson, and Judith Lingham, all lost their lives. For Suzanne Brown, the tragedy was especially poignant. She was due to marry RAF technician Brian Wetton the very next day. The flowers, the dress, the celebrations, all were ready. Instead of a wedding, her and family faced a funeral. This detail, endlessly repeated in retellings, gave the accident a mythic quality. A bride cut down on the eve of her marriage is the stuff of ballads and folklore. Within just 2 years, local newspapers began to carry rumors of a spectral woman on the hill. The raw grief of 1965 had seeded something larger, a haunting. From the late 1960s onward, the legend took a familiar shape, that of the vanishing hitchhiker, one of the world's most widespread ghost motifs. The hitchhiker, a young woman, pale, distressed, sometimes described in white or in bridal attire, is seen on the roadside near the Lower Bell pub. The ride, a driver offers her a lift. She gives an address, sometimes in Maidstone, sometimes elsewhere. The vanishing. Upon arrival, the driver finds the backseat empty, or the family at the door explains that their daughter died years ago. In other versions, the ghost does not ride but instead steps in front of cars, leading drivers to believe they've struck a pedestrian. Yet when police arrive, there is no trace, no victim, no body, nothing but shaken motorists insisting on what they saw. A few incidents stand out in the lore of Bluebell Hill. 1967 and 68. The Kent Messenger and Maidstone Gazette record the first public mentions of a phantom girl thumbing lifts by the Lower Bell. 1970s. Several cases of drivers reporting passengers who disappeared from their cars mid-journey. The 13th of July, 1974. Maurice Goodenough, a bricklayer, reported hitting a young woman, wrapping her in a blanket, and rushing for help. When police returned, the blanket lay empty, no sign of the injured woman. 1992. On the crash's anniversary, multiple motorists swore they struck a woman who vanished upon impact. These reports rekindled media coverage and reinforced the hill's reputation. Each story amplified the legend, blurring the line between police report, newspaper copy, and local tale. 2 folklorists. Bluebell Hill is a textbook case study in modern legend making. The vanishing hitchhiker tale has been told globally, in America, Scandinavia, South Africa, and beyond. Its motifs are remarkably stable: a mysterious passenger, a destination that proves to be a grave or a family home. The revelation that the hitchhiker has been dead for years. Bluebell Hill fits neatly into this narrative frame, but with a local tragedy to anchor it. The bride-to-be detail adds extra resonance. Across cultures, the ghostly bride is a potent symbol of untimely death and lost potential. Suzanne Brown's interrupted wedding provided exactly the kind of story element that folklore clings to. Not all who investigate Bluebell Hill see ghosts. Road conditions. The A229 is steep, fast, and confusing, with poor visibility. Headlight beams, fog, and sudden movements can easily create illusions of figures crossing the road. Driver fatigue. Late-night journeys, stress, and highway hypnosis can trigger hallucinations or split-second misperceptions. The power of expectation. Once a place is branded, haunted, ambiguous stimuli, a pedestrian, a shadow, a plastic bag blown across the tarmac, can be interpreted as supernatural. In psychology, this is priming at work. Folklorist Michael Goss argued that when you strip back the embellishments, very few of the Bluebell Hill accounts hold up to scrutiny. Many appear second-hand or shift details in line with the global vanishing hitchhiker pattern. Yet skepticism cannot erase the power of the legend. The story of Bluebell Hill endures because it speaks to something deeper than traffic safety. Collective mourning. It transformed a tragic accident into a narrative that allowed the community to continue speaking about the dead. Modern mythology. In an era of highways and speed, the ghost hitchhiker embodies the dangers and dislocations of modern travel. Liminal geography. Hills, crossroads, and roadside inns have long been seen as haunted spaces. The Lower Bell pub stands as both a literal and symbolic marker of that liminality. In this way, Bluebell Hill is not just a local haunting, but part of a much older cultural pattern. Places of sudden death become places where the living feel the presence of the dead. Bluebell Hill is, at first glance, an ordinary stretch of road, a commuter's route between towns. But layered into its tarmac are stories of a bride who never reached her wedding day, of drivers who met passengers who were never there, of motorists who hit ghosts that cannot die twice. Whether one interprets these tales as hallucinations, folklore, or genuine hauntings, they remind us that roads are not only channels of movement, but also of memory. They carry not just cars, but stories. And so, the next time mist curls across the A229 and headlights catch a pale figure by the roadside, remember, on Bluebell Hill, the distance between this world and the next may be no wider than a car's beam of light. You've been listening to Britain's Haunted Tales. Tonight we journeyed along the slopes of Bluebell Hill in Kent, where history, tragedy, and folklore meet on a haunted stretch of the A229. Was it simply a dangerous road with an eerie reputation? Or do the lost souls of 1965 still linger by the Lower Bell, thumbing a lift that will never reach its destination? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Britain's Haunted Tales and share it with fellow lovers of the eerie and unexplained. Every week we uncover another legend, another haunting, another glimpse into the strange world that lies just beneath the everyday. Until next time, drive carefully, keep your eyes on the road, and if someone raises their hand for a lift on a dark Kentish night, think twice before stopping.